Warm greetings from the high 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans, and thanks for joining me. Yes, back-to-back commentary this evening. The set information is pertaining to the disappearance of Summer Wells. I just retrieved the set information pertaining to this child who has been missing for 3 months now. And as most of you know, last week marked 3 months to the disappearance of Summer Wells. I find it interesting that I found this by a news station, ABC4 Utah, and that is the source for the set information that I'm bringing to you. 3 months. Investigators say there's still no update on missing 5-year-old. Ansley Daniel is the reporter. It's been 3 months since Summer Wells, the daughter of a man with Utah ties, was reported missing from her home on Ben Hill Road in the Beach Creek community of Hawkins County. We don't have any updates to provide other than to say the investigation remains active and ongoing, said TBI spokesperson Leslie Earhart in a statement to News Channel 11. Agents and detectives with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office continue to work daily to determine what happened to Summer Wells. We ask those with credible information to call 100 TBI Fine. We've received around 1,200 tips in the search for Summer. Since the night of June 15th, no one has been charged in relation to her disappearance, and there are still no answers as to where the little girl could be. Summer Wells is missing. She's 5 years old, 4-foot-tall blonde hair, last seen wearing a pink shirt and gray pants, said Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson the night she went missing. A massive ground search was launched in the Beach Creek community after the call came in around 6:30 p.m., and a statewide Amber Alert was issued the following day. Everyone is a person of interest until we find Summer, Lawson said on June 17th during a press conference. Authorities said all possibilities were on the table. When Summer's father told ABC4 affiliate News Channel 11 he believed she was taken. Candace was on one side of the house when she got gone, not even 60 feet away, Don Wells, Summer's father, said on June 18th. Wells has ties to Utah. We know she wouldn't leave the property. There's no way she would do that, quote unquote. A statewide call-out was requested through the Tennessee Association of Rescue Squads on June 19th. With the steep and dangerous terrain, we're also experiencing very dense canopy coverage, including very dense ground cover, said Captain Tim Coop, the incident commander of ground search operations, during the June 20th press conference. This is causing search efforts to be very difficult, taking extra time to cover these areas adequately. Exhausting teams a lot quicker in turn, causing longer for these grounds to be covered, quote unquote. Press conferences continued until June 24th. While every case is different, this one is definitely outside of the norm, said TBI spokesperson Leslie Earhart in the final on-camera update. Typically in an investigation like this one, we have some idea where the case is headed and what might have happened within a few days. On June 26th, the TBI asked for help finding the driver of a Toyota pickup truck was seen in the area of Beach Creek Road and Ben Hill Road in the late afternoon to early evening on either Monday, June 14th or Tuesday, June 15th. Authorities stressed that the driver is not a suspect, but could have seen something. Please find it in your heart, have mercy, and find a way of letting her go to where we can get her back, said Wells during an interview with News Channel 11 on June 28th. Summer's parents believe someone took her. During that interview, 13 days after her daughter went missing, Candace Blythe spoke on camera for the first time. Me and my mother and her were planting flowers, and we went in after we got done washing our hands, and she got a piece of candy from Grandma, and she wanted to go back over and see her brothers, and I said, okay. And I walked her all the way over to the porch, and I watched her walking into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV, Blythe recalled. I told the boys, I said, watch Summer. I'll be back. And within 2 minutes, I came back and I asked the boys where their sister was. And they said, she went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom. I said, okay. And I yelled downstairs for her a couple of times and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because usually she always answers me. And so I went down there to check. She was nowhere in sight. The same day, the reward fund was finalized and search operations were officially scaled back. That was a decision I knew going in that there was a possibility I was going to have to make, not knowing how many days, how many hours we were going to be up there searching for Summer, said Coop during an interview with News Channel 11 on July 13th. Speaking with command staff, speaking to subject matter experts, that were involved from other agencies out of state, getting together every day, putting all these things together to make the decision, I can say, made the decision easier, but it didn't. Nearly a month later, the nonprofit group EquiSearch Midwest returned to the Beach Creek area. I'm still going to keep the faith, you know. So far, we haven't found her. That's a good thing, said David Rader, the director of EquiSearch Midwest, on July 25th. As long as I don't find a body, we still have hope that the little girl is walking amongst us. And we just need to say whoever has her, bring her home. Drop her off in a safe place. The following Tuesday, July 27th, the Church Hill Rescue Squad announced the Sheriff's Office would be taking over search operations. Earlier that same day after the juvenile court hearing, Summer's parents told News 11 off camera their sons had been in the custody of the Department of Child Protective Services since the week before. I understand people's curiosity about where we're at in the case as far as the investigation. I know people speculate, and I understand that, Sheriff Lawson said in a video posted to TBI's Twitter on August 11th. They have to understand our number one goal from day one is to find Summer. No one with the TBI or Hawkins County Sheriff's Office was available for an interview 3 months to the day Summer Wells disappeared. The 1998-2000 Broom Red Toyota Tacoma truck that was reported as possibly being seen in the area of Beach Creek Road and Ben Hill on June 14th or 15th has not been located, Earhart said in an email. Her parents didn't return calls or respond to messages from News 11, and no trespassing signs have been posted around their home. Family friends also declined to be interviewed. And this is by ABC 4 News Utah. And I found it interesting that this commentary was just uploaded a little 15 hours ago. And it's basically a repeat of what I brought you last week to the date of Summer's disappearance. Because now it's 3 months as of last Wednesday, the 15th, that she's been missing. The interesting thing about this story is that it only became ever evolving with side pieces to the child's disappearance. Nothing pertinent, nothing valid, nothing substantial, nothing credible, nothing solid to where she can be located, either alive or deceased. And it started with different parties known to the parents speaking out, relatives speaking out, the father speaking out, then the mother, she lied in the cut and stopped talking. And then it became a circus act. I was forewarned yesterday evening, because it's now, I believe, a new day. Check my time clock here. Yes, it's 1:08 here in the high 10. That this story goes deeper into the rabbit hole. That it is more than what is being said and assumed. And that's what was said to me yesterday. That possibly you need to scale back from talking about the disappearance of Summer Wells. So I only brought you this commentary because it was in the Google search and basically a repeat of what I brought you last week pertaining to the storyline. If indeed it is what someone has said to me yesterday, that it is deeper than suspected, assumed, then have mercy on all parties involved pertaining to the disappearance of Summer. It is a sad story, and it is just as sad as all the other stories that you hear of missing children, such as the boys of Cal City and many other children missing. And all of them have a similar quality to them, that they were not treated well, suspected not to have been treated well by the participants. I think one can assume that in all the said stories, because that's usually the reason why most children have been not located. It's because they were not in the best care of the people who were taking care of them. I don't know what is going to become of this said story, what is going to become of the truth pertaining to the disappearance of Summer Wells, but I do know one thing. The truth has got to come out about her, and I pray that it does. And I pray that there is justice for Summer Wells. I pray that there's justice for her, because she deserves it. Every child deserves justice. What is the truth pertaining to her disappearance? I don't know. But when I read this commentary, I think I have become very ill to my stomach when I read the version that the mother, Candace Bly Wells, gave pertaining to that fateful day. And it sounds rehearsed. Me and my mother and her were planting flowers, and we went in after we got done washing our hands, and she got a piece of candy from Grandma, and she wanted to go back over and see her brothers, and I said, okay. And I walked her all the way over to the porch, and I watched her walking into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV. You see, there's too many words in the sentence. All the way over. You're only but a few feet, so why not just say, I walked her back into the house. Stay woke. I tell you everything you need to know is at the beginning of the story. I watched her walking into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV, Bly recalled. I told the boys, I said, watch Summer, I'll be back. And within 2 minutes, I came back. And I asked the boys where their sister was, and they said, she went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom. And of course, we've seen the photographs, videos, of that commentary of that makeshift home and downstairs. And by no means is that a playroom. That is a dark hole. A very dark, dark hole. Dungeon to some, but not a playroom for a child. I said okay, and I yelled downstairs for her a couple of times. And I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because usually she always answers me. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight. And then many of you know the tune changed as she started giving interviews. That she didn't remember if she locked the door or not. Conveniently. Because that was always mentioned by said people in the chat. And I do believe this story's changed between the parents, according to commentary they read online, social media, The Wire, Facebook. And that's what has transpired in the past couple of months pertaining to Summer's disappearance. Foolishness, utter foolishness on behalf of her parents and other said parties wanting to immerse themselves in this case. And I think some people are going to have to learn the hard way of what happens when you meddle in things that don't concern you. You might get your foot caught in the trap and you won't be able to get your foot out. You have to know when to leave well enough alone. And I think a lot of people have not learned that. And I'm learning that every day as I deal with people. There are some people who are just attention seekers. They are chameleons. And they live for this type of foolishness because they don't have a life of their own. So they immerse themselves in social media BS as to feel important, as to feel validated. Because you see, you don't know people. You will never fully know people. And this case is evident of that. You don't know people. That it takes a jump off to get to know somebody. And still that's up for interpretation because what you see, maybe I don't see, and vice versa. But one thing I do see is foolishness. And I knew it was never going to have a positive outcome from day one, from the video dispatch. It changed once these people started talking to the news, and it has ever evolved since then, with many other participants coming out giving their version pertaining to knowing these people and what allegedly happened on June 15th. I'll say it again. You do not know people, and there are people who are chameleons, and they will show that side eventually, the side that you thought you knew, because you don't know people. And that is what's going on in this case. You do not know the Wells. You do not know the people who have spoke out pertaining to the Wells. You don't know anything. And sometimes what you think you know is not the spoken word. And that's what was told to me. That you have no idea how deep this is. How deep this is. And perhaps you should not be talking about Summer Wells. So I only brought this information because it was a reported news story. Basically, recapping what I already brought you last week. I want to thank you all for joining me. If any of you have any credible information to the disappearance of Summer Wells, please contact TBI or the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department. Do not waste these people's time with petty innuendos and perceptions and assumptions pertaining to where you think she is. If you know something viable, then call these said people and turn in information. There is also a reward for this child. It is over $38,000 to my last knowledge from last week's commentary. And as I state, if you have pertinent information, please call that said information into the authorities. If you'd like to donate to the channel and the dream of everyday shenanigans, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. Thank you all new subscribers, people visiting the channel, sharing the content. I appreciate it, the kind words. God bless all of you. Stay safe. Please go back in the queue to my following previous videos that have been uploaded on The Wire. I appreciate your support. God bless all of you. Stay safe. Prayers for Summer Wells. Prayers for Cal City. Prayers for all missing children and adults. Deshina Kyle, 27, missing out of Knoxville, Tennessee. And Chadwick Carr, missing out of Clinton, Tennessee. From the foundation, Mindy Lowe is the proprietor. Make her stand account for his disappearance. Prayers to these people, people's families, the community, because somebody needs answers. We all need answers because we are all children of God and we are all valuable. Maybe not to this person or that person, but somebody's concerned about our welfare. And you would want the same justice if indeed you were to go missing or your loved one friend went missing. Show that you care. Stay concerned and stay in the know. Stay knowledgeable. And if you see something, say something. Thank you for joining me. God bless all of you. Have a blessed week. This is Everyday Shenanigans.